My name is Jennifer Farquhar. I'm an archaeologist and a PhD candidate from the University of Pittsburgh, and with the support of a research fellowship from the ACMS, I have been in Mongolia since May of this year, carrying out field and laboratory work associated with my PhD dissertation project. Broadly speaking, my project deals with the development of pastoralism, an important social and economic transition that occurred in this part of the world about 4,500 years ago. Specifically, I'm interested in looking at the role of foragers or hunter-gatherers in the development of pastoralism. I'm working primarily in desert and desert-steppe regions of the southeastern part of the country, and I've been working at the Iknart Nature Reserve in the Dornogovi province. I'm using archaeological data from large-scale regional surveys and more small-scale focused excavations within the park to study land use patterns and settlement strategies of hunters and herders and understand how they came to play a part in the development of pastoralism. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm looking at differences in how hunters and herders distribute themselves in different environments and understand something about differences in why, when, and where people move. And with this information, I'm hoping to learn something about how people make decisions about existing environmental conditions and how those decisions played a part in the development of food-producing societies. The survey part of my project was carried out this summer, where our group took on a very ambitious program of survey of 660 hectare-sized parcels distributed throughout the park, divided into different ecological zones. We had 2 crews of archaeologists covering the entire park, looking for evidence of archaeological sites, mapping them, and collecting artifacts for further analysis. At the end of the project, we took all the artifacts back to UB, where I've been cataloging and analyzing all the collections, and recently just finished that task. So the data that I've recovered from the survey is going to be interpreted with the help of data from subsurface excavations. So I'm going to be looking at artifact patterning from buried context to help me understand what's going on with these surface assemblages. And I'll be drawing on excavations that have been previously carried out in the park, as well as a couple of excavations that are planned for next summer. So with these data, I would like to answer 4 questions. And the first is, where did people live before, during, and after the transition to pastoralism? And my second question is, was there a difference in how people were using different habitats over time? And third, what was the impact, if any, that herding had on existing forager lifeways? So, for example, was the transition from hunting to herding a slow, gradual, in situ process that really prioritized the conservation of foraging lifeways, or was it a more rapid, quick transition or reordering of existing social and economic practices? My fourth question is, how do these patterns articulate with evidence for changes in the natural and social environment? So I anticipate that knowing something about the natural and cultural environment in which pastoralism took place will give us some idea about the variability, the different ways that food-producing societies came about, and give us some information on the factors that lead to sustainable systems, and maybe the factors that would contribute to more rapid change in social and economic patterns. So this project is a collaboration with the Mongolian Academy of Sciences, directed by Dr. Yadmat Serendagva of the Institute of History and Archaeology. Our project is an offshoot of a larger project that was carried out in the park involving park managers, the Mongolian Academy of Sciences, and researchers from the California State Parks, led by Dr. Joan Schneider. This was a multi-year, multinational project that focused on identifying and recording cultural resources in the park as part of a broader resource management plan. And both projects were really fortunate to have a very skilled team of professional and student archaeologists from Mongolia and the United States working together alongside volunteers from all over the world. We had folks from Kazakhstan, China, the UK, Australia, and the US. I think the biggest challenge for me in this project was logistics. how do you organize 25 archaeologists over a 40-day period to cover 660 distinct survey areas within a park that is really large, very remote, and in some places very rugged. We were fortunate enough to have the use of Russian vans with some drivers that had local knowledge. They really helped us navigate the region, but there are many areas where the vans couldn't even get to, and we had to go on foot. And I think we all got in really good shape during this project. Because we had to mobilize multiple crews at one time, there was no way that I could oversee all the work that was being carried out. So I really needed to rely on leaders who really understood what I was doing. They understood my goals and the reasoning behind my methods so that they could make decisions on their own, on the ground, in real time, that really matched my objectives. So in order to get that level of buy-in from my leadership crew, I had to be very confident about what I was doing, the methods that I was using, and have a strong understanding of all the problems that might come up. So what was really important here was a pilot study that I carried out last summer, and it was a very small-scale version of this project involving 4 or 5 of us for about a week, trying to see what we could accomplish during that time. And I think that that really helped us refine our methods, and it paid off because we were able to scale this up to working with 25 people over a long period of time and covering a large area with very few problems, and we collected a lot of really good data, and I was really happy with that. I attribute a lot of the success of this project to the people involved. As I mentioned before, we had a very skilled group of professional and student archaeologists, and many of them were actually veterans of the previous work that's been carried out in the park, led by Dr. Tserdagva and Dr. Schneider. And I really think that their work over the last 8 years really set my project up for success, and I consider their work foundational to my project.